My February reading did not go as planned, but in March I'm starting over and I'm being delusionally optimistic yet again. So let's talk about the 10 books that I have set for my March TBR. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Olivia and here we talk about all things books, and yes, that does mean all genres. Starting off with my current read, this is Well Actually by Maisie Eddings. I am about 60% of the way through with this and I do plan on reading it within the next 2 days. This is a second chance romance and I am really enjoying it because I relate so much to the female main character. She's very pessimistic and snarky, and I know that's not for everyone, but man is it for me because I see so much of myself in there. And it also reminds me that I need to call my therapist. I am also in the middle of Operation Bounce House by Matt Dinniman. I wasn't planning on reading this month, but my husband's library loan came in, so we are kind of buddy reading this. I'm about 25% of the way through. I don't have too many thoughts on this yet, but it's humorous and it's got a lot of political undertone. And if I do really enjoy this, then I think that that might be my sign to pick up Dungeon Crawler Carl. The next book that I plan to read in March is Royal Assassin. I finished Assassin's Apprentice in February. This took me about 2 months to read just because I wanted to give the book the time that it deserves. It's very slow paced until the last 3 chapters, but I do want to see where the story takes us and hoping that Fitz gets a little bit of a break. Another book from a series that I'm in the middle of is The Last Town by Blake Crouch. This is the 3rd book in the Wayward Pines trilogy, and I know what you're thinking, a thriller trilogy, kind of weird, but I will say that each book gets better as the series continues, so I really have high hopes for the ending of this trilogy. Moving on to 2 new releases that I plan to read in March. One is No Matter What by Cara Stone. This is a sort of second chance marriage and trouble book, and you might be thinking, you're married, why are you interested in reading a marriage and trouble? Are you good? And to that I say the romances I read give me the opportunity to be in romantic relationships that I couldn't otherwise be in. And I really do learn from them and gain empathy and understanding as far as other points of view are concerned. So no, my marriage is not in trouble, but if it ever were, I do want to be prepared and know what fictional characters do in order to save theirs. Also, a little side note, I did get this at the Ripped Bodice here in Brooklyn because Cara Stone was there and she signed and personalized it. So I'm ever so grateful to have had the opportunity to go and meet her. She is such a sweet person. Another new release romance, this one is Sapphic. This is Anderson in Bloom by Jennifer Dugan. I did receive an e-arc for this, but unfortunately I wasn't able to get to it before the pub date, but I did want to support the author, so I bought a physical copy and again went to the Center for Fiction, and it was signed and personalized. Jennifer Dugan is such a sweetheart and she's just a lovely character, but we're not here about that. We're here about the book. This is another second chance romance where the 2 love interests were child co-stars. They ended up having a fling together when they were younger, and one of the FMCs ultimately decided that showbiz was not for her. She wanted to live a quiet life, so she moved to the opposite end of the country to live a very quiet life and work in her best friend's florist shop. And all is well until her ex and former co-star shows up. I'm extremely excited to read this, not only because it is sapphic, but getting to hear an author's backstory and how they came up with and developed a novel is so personal and gives me a little bit more of an edge to understanding the story. For my indie published book this month, I picked Bones by K.L. Spear. I might be cheating here because this will be traditionally published soon, but I do have Bones and Fangs that I want to get to before they are traditionally published. This is a little bit out of my comfort zone because not only is it a romantasy, which I haven't read too many of, but it's also post-apocalyptic and it's a dark romance. But I see raving reviews everywhere and I am really excited to get to this. Speaking of post-apocalyptic and kind of dystopian, I am planning on reading Coldwire by Chloe Gong this month as well. This is the Fairy Loot edition and it's absolutely gorgeous, but I have been really bad about reading my book subscription boxes, so I'm going to try to pick at least one every month, and this is what I chose for this month just because it sounds so cool. I'm trying to go into this relatively uninformed, but I do know that it is a YA kind of romance, but it's also dystopian, and I have been absolutely devouring dystopian novels lately. I have heard mixed reviews on this, so I think that my expectations are modest, but we will see how I enjoy it. Speaking of dystopian romance, I also have an e-arc for Beneath by Ariel Sullivan that I plan to get to this month as well. I read Conform as an arc and absolutely loved it, so much that I made my husband read it. I believe they're somewhat interconnected, but they're part of a dueling trilogy, so I guess we'll see how that fits into the story. I know that this is a bit of a prequel for Conform, so I don't expect to have the same characters, but I am really curious about the world building. And the last book that I plan to read this month is rather short, but that is This Is How You Lose a Time War by Amal El-Mohtar and Max Gladstone. I am really curious to see how I like this because it's short but has two authors, so I want to see how their writing styles differ. But I did adore The River Has Roots by Amal El-Mohtar, so I have really high expectations for this and have only seen good reviews. Aside from the books that I'll read digitally, this is what I have lined up for March. Please tell me know what your most anticipated read for March is.